Oops.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I guess I'm on both cameras.
So that says no signal. Is it supposed to?
Yeah. Don't pay attention to that.
Pay no attention.
Pull your thing down. I can hear the nose breathing.
Well, I'm not talking yet. Hang on. I'm trying to clap this
It's not
thing.
the talking, it's the breathing. There we go.
That hurt my thumb.
What if you hold it
Well,
and I
you don't
snap it?
snap it on your thumb.
Well, my thumb was down below it, but it smacked it.
I'm sorry.
Let's do it again.
Do it again.
You want to do it again?
Redo.
Move your thumb.
Oh,
That was good. That was good.
tough stuff right
That
there.
was
That
good.
was
I bet Sean
solid.
has a Band-Aid. He's an Eagle Scout, you know.
I do. If I don't, I can make it out of anything.
All right, let's get this thing going. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 67 with Brian Williams and Sean Hilsdon. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our private Facebook group, you should be because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. I forgot to look for reviews because I just figured we didn't have any because I'm still not over last week's. Brian has not written us a review.
I'll get on that.
He probably doesn't know how.
Well, I'm going to have him write one, or I'm going to,
Like a forced review?
yes,
Are you going to write it for him and then?
Yeah, if you'll email that to me, I'll
Yes.
be happy.
some bullet
He'll do it.
points.
To cut and paste.
I'll lay it out in a PowerPoint.
That'd be great.
You know how people say I was paid to, or I got a discount for using this product? He's going to be like, I got a cent review to send.
I'll give him a free pair of booty shorts for leaving us a good review. You know what I'm going to do right now?
Introduce me?
I'm going to introduce my angelic, enticing, and
Wow.
exquisite
He learned
wife.
some new words this week.
I know.
I was surprised by Angelic. That's a good one.
Smooth. Yeah. Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
I like your shirt.
Thank you. I love my shirt. This is my Matt Frazier quote.
You just got Matt Frazier all over your chest.
Oh, yeah.
And you just seem so happy about that.
I do.
I can't even
I did
compete.
yesterday what you didn't, so I can do today what you can't.
I like that.
That's my motto. That's my man.
Well, that's great.
And then you.
And then me, a distant second. We have working the camera, ketogenic Chris Perry, the cameraman. How are you?
I'm good. How are
Wired
you?
up with the headset,
I got a new headset. I'm excited.
looking good. He's got his daughter here.
She's occupied with my phone.
Somebody's breathing all up in there.
It's not me.
I think maybe it was. Who's a
You
nose
said that
breather?
as you moved.
As you move it down, you're like, oh, on there.
And to Amanda's right, we have Slammin' Sean Hilsdon.
Peace. I was looking at both cameras to do that one.
And Brian, what was it? El Bendito Sombrero?
That was close.
Sombrero Bendito?
I'm saying yes to something I don't understand.
Brian Williams. How are you, Brian?
So I'm doing marvelous.
Brian has been a guest on here before. That was before our worldwide fame. When we were out in the garage.
That was before. Yeah, it was when you were in the garage and not in the house.
Yep. I want to make sure that,
Way before you were the huge success.
yeah, way before we
But
had
he was
30
on for
viewers.
the Ragnar, right?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They
He
both
was on
were.
Ragnar.
Yeah, and then I was on for, I guess, the Barkley Fall Classic and Zane Grey.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's 2 times. That was
No, well, yeah, I've been on twice. You're correct.
Ragnar and then out in the shop.
Correct.
So we got these two guys who are some of my closer friends and some of the better runners in the Memphis area. And they're here to talk about their 50K that they're going to be putting on next October.
Correct.
Is that correct? And it is the name of it is the Buford Pusser Walking Tall. It's a Boston qualifier, Western States qualifier. You win a car.
There's a couple of heartbreak hills out there.
For second place, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Can y'all tell us a little bit about that?
Well, the real name of it is going to be the Big Hill Pond Walking Tall 50K and 25K.
That's a lot to put on a medal.
So that is a lot to put on a medal. So then the name I was supposed to have an answer for today. There's some copyright issues with the movies. The movie company owns the Walking Tall motto. So I was supposed to have something today and didn't. If it falls through, we're planning on our backup name would be the Fire Tower 50K.
Can you not do walking tall with the comma instead of a walking tall?
You know, I guess we could get fancy if we wanted to, and I hadn't even thought of that. So that's might be a great idea.
Just wondering. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
That's
not
nice.
at all.
That didn't even think about that.
Well, and I guess how hard do you want to play with them, or how hard do they really want to play with you? I mean, how big of a deal?
What's the
are
Buford
they-
Pusser? So I mean, you got to ask yourself, what would he want, and
That's
what would
true.
he do to get it done
Yeah, on which side?
on our side?
Yeah. So y'all got to
We're
walk
good.
tall and move forward.
Yeah.
Walk softly and carry a big stick.
Well, you know, you would think it's 100% for charity, so you would think that the movie company wouldn't push back too much, but we're just waiting for the official stamp of approval before we open up the website and open up the Facebook page and start really advertising. We've got a full year. I mean, it's October 20th of 2018, so we're not super nervous about getting the ball rolling, but, you know, I'd like to do it sooner rather than later.
Right.
But y'all do have to get somebody at the movie company is going to sign off or not sign off on this.
That's correct.
How did the movie company even come in? How do you even get in touch with somebody at a movie company, even if you wanted to get in touch with them?
So we had a meeting with the Tennessee Park Ranger Association, and we started talking about the details of the race, and the Chamber of Commerce for McNairy County, which is where the park is located, about an hour east of Memphis, was there, and she threw up a hand and said maybe we ought to get this checked out, and she knew an attorney, the local McNairy County attorney friend, I guess, and so she's been talking with him, and he's been trying to contact the movie theater. And so he got a hold of the original owner of the rights, and he just recently, with the remake of the Walking Tall movie with what's his name?
Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah,
they
boy.
sold the name to a different movie theater, to a different movie studio. So we're, again, waiting for the next movie studio to say yes or no.
I want to know how much he sold the name for.
I have no idea. He
That
didn't
kind of
say.
stuff interests me. You know, we trademarked Lift Heavy, Run Long, and we're in the process of trademarking the logo. And it's just kind of fascinating how you have to do that kind of stuff, which is an investment. Not a big investment when you know, in the whole scheme of things, but you still need to do it. And there is the concern of, you know, has somebody already gotten to it? And like you said, you gotta think about websites, you gotta think about T-shirts, you gotta think about all that printed material, and that's where it gets expensive quick.
That's exactly right. You know, you could probably sell Lift Heavy, Run Long for tens of dollars. I mean, just
I'm thinking,
just huge.
if you'll give me 8, you give me 8. Sean, give me 7 cash.
7 cash.
We'll call it even. But it's something to think about either way. But you said that the Rangers at one point were like, hell, we don't even need a permit. Y'all just come out here and
Oh, yeah, the Rangers are all about it. You know, we've got approval for everything really except for the name. So they don't really want us to even cap the race as far as the number of runners. They've got plenty of single-track trail out there. They're just super excited about it. The Ranger is going to bring in he's got a buddy that's bringing in a still that'll be on race site, and we're going to run by an abandoned still in the woods during the race. They are planning on offering tours of the jail for family members that come out to the park and get a little bored, you know, because it's right around the corner. I mean, it's all right there at the Hatchie River bottoms. So it's they're 100% behind it. It's great.
You know, when we ran that race, what was it? The Big Hill. Ooh, I can't remember.
The big
Just
hill
the 5.
Yeah, the Big Hill
Right
5K.
there.
That the little park ranger that was hanging out there. He was so sweet. He was
Yeah.
talking and wanting to know who my family was if I was near there, and asked me how I liked the trails. And
That'd probably be Jim. He's a nice guy.
he was so
Oh, yeah,
sweet.
Jim's
I just wanted to
great.
give a big hug. He
He
reminded me
saved
of my
my
papa.
hat. If it wasn't for Jim, I wouldn't have my green hat.
Really?
The first time I ever lost it. And I think that's when he realized the importance of it to me.
Did you have a breakdown?
It was pretty close because it took me about, I don't know, over a month to get it back, just because I don't drive that way often, and Jim had it in his office, and I had to kind of coordinate with a friend that commutes from Ryanzi, Mississippi, so it was a little bit, maybe 15 minutes out of his way, but he went and met with Jim and got my hat and brought it to work that next day.
But some effort was put into it.
It was some effort. I mean, it had to exchange a few hands.
There wasn't the option of just ordering a new hat.
Nope.
Got to be that
Well,
hat.
I got it for free anyway, so I wouldn't know where to order it.
Well, how'd you get roped into the being part of the 50K? Was that something that was any of this your idea, or how'd it come about?
I think Brian has always had it. He has a place out there close by where he has been training, and so I think that it's something that's been in the back of his mind for a long time. And he's big into 50Ks, and I just kind of got into the ultra scene maybe a year and a half ago with him. Kind of started that fire with me. My history with it is when I was in Scouts, especially around the 13 to 18-year-old range, I was kind of getting the high adventure stuff, and we were going out west and doing some backpacking, and the only good place to go out within an hour and a half drive was Big Hill Pond, and it's not real busy out there because it's kind of a hidden gem, so you can go out just on a whim and not have to worry about there's always a shelter available, so you can spend the whole weekend getting 20 plus miles backpacking and get some good elevation and some good kind of technical hiking. And it's low key, and it's out in the wilderness, and it's just really, really unique. I mean, you kind of transport yourself to a different landscape than what you're used to seeing around here, and it's only an hour and a half away, so that was what was special about it. But when I met Brian and started trail running with him, I think one of our first trail runs together was out at Big Hill Pond, and it was cold, but it was beautiful, and it was kind of a magic moment for me. So it rekindled that magic that I didn't really give it its day in court when I was a teenager. I was just a teenager going out hiking with the Scouts. But coming back as an adult with kids, and you have only so much precious time you can spend doing something for yourself at this time in life. The rest of it's kind of given to your kids and your family, and that place kind of rekindled that deal. So when he was kind of mentioning that he would like to put a race on out there, I was like, man, whatever I can do to help you make that dream come true, I'd love to be a part of it.
Has it been more than you bargained for?
It is getting that way already. Absolutely. There's a lot of red tape, especially when you start talking about the Tennessee Rangers Association. Anytime you get involved with a government agency, or it starts getting complicated, like how do you set up the 501(c)(3)? It's 100% non-for-profit for the park. So do I set up my own Friends of the Park, like they've got Friends of the Forest for Shelby Farms? There's cost involved in that. Do we run the money through the Rangers already set up service, and then how do you get funds for logistics, just for little maintenance or course markings, anything that you might need, shirts for the race? How easy is that going to be? Do you have to run it through one or two people? It just kind of starts adding up very fast as far as the logistics of it.
So what about my big question and my always thought process, like standing in front of a start line and see all the people, like the insurance that's involved with the race people. I know we sign the waivers and stuff, but I know that y'all probably have to have some type of insurance to cover everything.
Absolutely. You can do a one-time insurance thing, and the park has a event insurance, a one-time event where you can buy it there. You can also go through, if you are a member of the RRCA, the Road Running Club of America, they will sell one-time insurance. I think if you're affiliated with another club, I don't think anybody can just go do that. But so we're bantering back and forth. What's the most cost-effective way to do that? Because, it starts adding up fast. I think one-time insurance through the Rangers Association is between $400 and $500. And so, any money we can save, because it is 100% for charity, is something we want to look into. But yes, we have to have insurance.
And there's a lot of work that needs to be done out there. You run some of these 50Ks around here, and you see that they kind of keep the trails clean. There's several kind of creek crossings that may have a small bridge or something like that. So there's a lot of that going on that I don't think this park has had that great of attention to it to cause a kind of what I would call a mass reset, to allow like that infrastructure to be redone. It's probably several of these little bridges and things like that, crossings, are 20 or 30 years old, and they're just starting to rot away, and we kind of bypass them a little bit when we do our training runs, but
when you get 150 people out there trying to get over it, it can be a problem.
There's several of them that would succumb to that type of foot traffic, and I don't think it'd be a safety issue. I mean, we're not talking about gorges. People would definitely be able to hop across the creek or find a way around it. If you're an ultra runner, you're not really concentrating on that's not going to stop you. Some of these hills out here, over time, and
it might stop me. It doesn't stop you, but I may turn around and be like, you know what? Sometimes I see a down tree.
Yeah, there might be a troll
obviously
under there.
Closed. It's not. It's unsafe. We need to all turn it back around and go home.
But I'm hoping that we do have a year, but it's a short amount of time in the scheme of talking about the mileage we have out there and the number of little bridges and crossings and things like that. And I know the park probably really wants to get all of them done at one time. I think we really had talked about going out there and kind of assessing them in order to which, because we would like to have this a lot more than 1 year. So, I mean, you can't really take care of everything in one swoop, but maybe you see what the first year does and you take care of the ones that are real safety hazards. I don't know how much funding the state's given the park to help out with this type of thing. I know they had talked about that, getting the scouts involved, and that's one thing that I've been trying to stay on top of, is thinking about Eagle Scout projects and any way that we can utilize the funds that are available to get some, I wouldn't call free labor, but labor that helps the community and is there for community service. So once that's done, I think that these trails are going to benefit the community and everybody that goes out there. Not just a trail run, but backpacking. I mean, this thing is used by lots of scouts within a 100-mile radius.
Yeah, I mean, the park is a real hidden gem. For people in Memphis that don't know about it, Big Hill Pond just is amazing. I mean, it is gorgeous single track. You're remote. It's got fire towers that you're allowed to, one fire tower you're allowed to climb. They don't have any problem with it. It's got a place they call the Dismal Boardwalk, where it's a little over a half-mile stretch where you're about 6 or 7 feet off of a swamp area, and you're just straight line boardwalk through some of the most pristine cypress swamp you're going to find anywhere close to here. Plus, it's got some real elevation. I mean,
that sounds like some Brian Williams stuff right there. Some pristine swamp area. I think I found that pristine swamp and a few well-kept mountains. What did you call it? Some of the less traveled.
Was that what you talking about? The little extra mileage you got after around the lake?
Yeah,
I think I said lesser-known features of the park.
Lesser-known features of the park. Like he was reading off a brochure.
He's good at that. He can just naturally write a brochure just by talking.
And that was before I'd even gone and explored on my own. And when I came back, I was like, forget this. I'm going home.
You came back a stronger man, though.
You think I did?
You look like it. Yeah, it's definitely one that's. It's going to happen one way or the other.
How long of a drive is it from here, from Memphis?
From Memphis, from the Collierville, Germantown line, it's about an hour and 10 minutes. So, door to door, from my front door to the park entrance is about an hour and 10 minutes.
What about here from Byhalia?
Hour and 15, hour and 20.
Yeah,
it's an hour and a half from my door.
We rode it.
You can jump right on 72 and just head that direction, which saves a ton of time.
Remember we rode it? You needed to poop.
Well, I know I was there, but I don't remember how long it took.
So if you're familiar with...
I remember that from the time that I needed to poop and the time we got there, it felt about like 4 hours. Oh. Sean wouldn't stop. That was the problem.
Oh, we did stop, and you got upset with me for stopping to take a picture.
We did stop. I needed to poop, and you decided we're all going to pull over in a caravan and take a picture.
This is the part where we need to flash up that picture.
and I couldn't get out or do anything. I was just stuck there. And I was like, are we really going to sit here? I mean, I just had made it clear. I really need to
I
use
think that's the
restroom.
first time I saw frustration in your eyes with something I had done. I was like, wow, I'm going to go with it because we're stopped. I've already got him out of the truck, so I'm just going to act like I'm happy and I don't notice his frustration. But we're going to go with this. But I can see his frustration.
Why in the world would a 230-plus man be upset when he just said, I'm about to crap my pants? Get me to the restroom. You're like, hold on. What are we doing?
Photo op. Yeah. I'll always remember that. That picture will pop up, and I'll always remember that. That'll be a good time.
Me too. That was great. I'm glad that I got to share that with you. Well, that'll be a good race. How many people you think you can get to run it?
Well, I think it'll be a success. I'd like to see 300 people run it. I think that's probably the limit. I haven't decided. I guess first year, 150 for the 50K and 150 for the 25. But more people run the 25K than the 50K in most races, so that might shuffle around. It just depends on really the supply and demand. But I really think any trail runner in Memphis or the surrounding area is making a huge mistake if they don't at least go check out the park, because it really is a hidden gem out there. You're going to see rock formations and things that you just don't find in Memphis. The closest thing that you've got is Shelby Forest here, and that's a 3-mile red loop, and then the rest of it is single track.
Yeah, the thing about that is it's a swamp everywhere.
That's right.
And you have a couple of big hills you climb out of the swamp, but this one, I think the magical part about this is you go through different types of forest. You go through different types of rock strata. You go through swamp. You come up on some red sandstone.
What is a strata?
Just a type of natural formation on the ground. So you get different types of footpaths. You get some technical stuff with rocks. You get a little bit of easy stuff because they do have a horse trail that kind of circles the park. So you get a little bit of relief in between the hills and the technical stuff. You get off in the swamp, and you really feel like you're almost lost in the middle of nowhere. There's some places out there that I went and I remembered from my backpacking days that he had not explored yet, I don't think. And he knows what trail I'm talking about. And it didn't look like many people had explored it lately anyways. It was pretty overgrown. And when we did it was August. It was one of our last long runs before Barkley Fall Classic last year. And we went back there and just fallen trees and everything. So the trees were marked with, I think, yellow little hiking guys. Look like little hiking guys as a symbol on the tree to mark the trail. And we went in there, and it just, it was so overgrown, and it had not been maintained in probably 2 or 3 plus years, I would say, is the last time a chainsaw or anything had gone through there. So you're hopping over trees, and several times we got not turned around, but we got it kind of runs a contour alongside of a pretty good little hill, and you finally make your way around to this bottom of the hill, and then you got to go straight up to kind of the backbone of the hill. And there's several places where you're just hopping over these trees and getting cut up, and at that time Kieran was running with us, and both Kieran and Brian had run Barkley before. And I was like, man, I bet this is just like what Barkley is. And they're like, no, it's. But it puts you in an uncomfortable zone. Of course, the trail will be cleaned up a lot better than it was that day we ran when we do the race. But it's still mentally, it's that mental part that it's not an easy gimme race to go through and just run single track and not worry about tripping up too much. You're going to have to focus, and you're going to have a game plan for that day.
You're going to have to work. Some of the elevation, if my watch is correct, you're going to have more elevation in the 50K than the Sylamore 50K.
Really?
So, yeah, it's probably – I'm ballparking because we haven't solidified the course exactly right now. But, just from what I know out there, it'll probably be 500 or 600 more feet of elevation than the Sylamore.
So course-wise, is it loops, or is it going to be one complete out and in, or how is this going?
Well, there's the park is made up of 4 and 5 mile sections, and they're connected all over the place. And then there's a big outer loop that's almost 9 or 10 miles, and then there's an inner loop, so that's 5 or 6 miles. And so we're trying to connect it. In a perfect world, we would not repeat a single step. That's what we're
trying to stay off the gravel.
Trying to stay off the gravel road that kind of connects some things.
Double up trails.
and we don't want
You
to double up
got the
trails.
right guy for that. If you need somebody to get out a map and
Well, that's what's in that. That's what's in that tube over there.
He's been working on it. So
I've spent a few hours working on the map, and we've got several more hours to spend on it. But I made some good progress with it the past couple of weeks, and it's starting to become an idea. And I know from just running out there where all the elevation is, where to strategically put the aid stations, because I don't want it to be something that's just your normal 50K where you have an aid station every 3 miles. That just, to me, we have that everywhere. To me, I think a 50K
needs to be every mile and a half.
No, I
Maybe
think
one.
you push it. I think you push it towards 4 to 5 mile range, more closer to the 5 mile range in several locations before you can re-up on fluid and see people.
So you have a better chance of dying.
Yeah,
because it's just not any fun if you don't have.
That's
that.
right. You're earning it. You're going to earn it out there. But yeah, we've had fun playing with it. Me and Brian actually haven't been able to sit down together with both minds on the same screen and look at the map together. But I've been feeding him information and talking with him on the phone while I'm working on it, and it's coming together. And I'd like for it to say it's not going to be a looped course, but there's a way to loop the 25K and the 50K to where you actually get some different trail in parts of the 50K, but you share the kind of what I call the epic features of the park with both circuits.
Right.
So,
because
anyway, y'all are obviously putting enough thought into it to where it won't be 12 laps of the same.
Oh, no,
thing,
absolutely not. It's going to be an amazing race. I mean, it's going to be, like I said, they're letting us climb the fire tower. We'll have a bib punch on top to punch your bib to prove that you got
cool.
up there.
you almost said a bad word when you said that.
Yeah, I know, right?
I
So
won't.
maybe we'll put a bell up there so you can ring a bell as you punch your bib. We're going across the dismal boardwalk. There'll be the part that he was talking about will be cleaned up some so that nobody gets lost. But it's a super remote, hilly section of the park that you're really going to have to earn. It's really going to be a diverse area. There's a couple mile stretches where it gets rocky, really rocky, so the ground is going to change from the soft pine to a rocky area and then back to pine. It's going to be hard for your first timer if you decide to do the 50K, but it's going to be a great enough race to where, if you're an experienced guy, you're going to love it. It's going to have something for everybody.
So I never really thought about strategically placing aid stations. I just thought aid stations were slapped at either a 3 or 5 mile point on a map, on a course, no matter what. I never really thought about strategically trying to lay something out there at a certain point where people would need something like, oh, they would need this here.
And plus, trying to place it, not just, that's one of the variables I like to keep in mind while I'm placing them. But the other thing is trying to just keep the requirement for volunteers down to a minimum. So that way, I see maybe 3 aid stations plus the start and finish at the most. And there will be several sections where you have 3.5 miles between aid stations, and then there'll be some that are closer to 5. But the whole point would be to limit the aid stations to where you don't have to have a whole entourage for volunteer support, and and it's kind of a race that runs itself besides the start and finish.
So, y'all looking for volunteers? How can people get a hold of you guys to get their name on the list?
Well, he's doing the website, or he's working with the people directly with the website, so I'll let him talk to that.
Well, as of right now, you could just email me. I'm on Facebook. You can instant message me, or as soon as we get the name situated, I'll have a Facebook page. Right now, it's out there, but it's closed. You can't see it just because we can't open it up. But so it might be tomorrow that the thing opens up. It might be a week. I don't know. It just depends on when the movie company gets back to us. But there'll be an actual website that pulls up, then there'll be links, and we're going to be hooked up to Ultra Sign Up is going to be where everybody's going to register, and all that stuff will be tied together. So, but if you'd like to volunteer, we're going to need tons of people, and especially like you were talking about for the trail work. Going into it, the park has allocated some funds to do some trail work. So since there's an interest and they've said yes and they want the thing to be a success, they've already started allocating some time. They've got some people that they've put on the trails already, but they've also allocated a few dollars that they normally wouldn't have done that way. So, but, I've got a fishing hole 6 miles from the front door, and I'm hoping to take a lot of people fishing and they can pay me back by coming and working on the trail a little bit out there, I think that'd be great.
Well, you really take for granted what goes into showing up getting online, paying your money, and showing up on a Saturday morning, and then just packing up and going home. You know, all the behind the scenes stuff. You sign up for a race and you think, that's expensive.
Yeah.
Well, I think once you get a race started and it's successful, which this one has, as long as there's no big problems, which I don't know what there would be, it should sell itself, especially after the first year, and it should be a pretty easy one to maintain.
Yeah, the first year is always the most expensive. You know, you've got to do things like the new website. You've got to do basic supplies, you know.
Is there much of a
signs.
financial risk as far as breaking even, or is it pretty
Well, you
pretty
can
top-sided?
if you have a couple good sponsors, no. But, you know, trail running community is pretty small, so it really just depends on how in-depth the race directors wanted to go. I mean, you can spend all the money you want to spend, just like anything. I mean, we can make a race bag that's got everything and medals as big as your head.
Right, yeah.
The whole
I mean,
9
maybe
yards,
maybe
but-
after a few years, the swag bag gets crazy, but, you know him. He's pretty much the definition of minimalist.
He's going to give you a bottle
You're
of
going to get a
Evian
bottle of Ozarka water.
Well, I don't want you to expect that. I think we're going to have good stuff.
with no
We're gonna
label
have-
on it.
I think it's
Half
important
drank.
that we have a good finisher's item. I think it's important. you know.
McNairy County
A
Chamber.
halter top shirt that
Right.
dug out from somewhere.
Maybe some LHRL booty shorts.
3 Enduralites, you know, you're good.
Starter kit. The Brian Williams starter kit. Comes with a pair of these adrenalines.
He comes with a used pair.
A used pair of adrenalines. That's the VIP package.
I think that it should be, you know, race director's choice, where you just tell people when they show up that day, you're running the 50K. You're running
pretty good
60K.
Well, you're in for the 50K.
You're in
then.
for the 12K.
Yeah,
you're not
you're-
looking so good. You're going to do
I
the
don't.
8K.
He's the 50K guy, anyways.
He
I don't
is the
think he could
50K
show up
guy.
and do a 25K. I think he's a 50K all day long.
I'll show up and
He
do
can't
that.
do the family fun run.
We'll let you set the cutoff time. How about that?
That's the best idea that I've heard
Oh
so
my
far.
gosh.
I can carry like a highlight stick. Or
You're like the
something.
automatic sweeper.
Yeah, you're
I
the
am
automatic
the sweeper. Yeah, that's great. Can we do that? Because y'all don't have the heart to cut me off.
I've already got 2 volunteers to sweep, actually.
Who's sweeping?
Drew Saltu, and he's got a buddy that's going to run with him.
All right.
Oh man.
They big guys?
Huh?
They big guys?
No,
Are you
but
going to
they're
attack
fast.
him?
Well, I just want to make sure, just in case I want to make sure. I want to know if I really need to get off the course.
Drew's wiry.
He is. You won't be able to catch me slippery.
Well, I'm not worried
Wiry
about
and
catching
slippery.
him. I'm worried about him catching me and telling me I have to go home.
Oh, he'll catch you.
Yeah.
What kind of cutoff would you have out there?
We're looking at 9 hours.
Oh,
9
okay.
hours for the 50K. So the 25K is backed by the 50K. So you would have
Get to the last aid station in 9 hours.
no, sir.
And then you start
Finish
coming
line.
in
There's
Nine
no
on in.
there's no cars bringing you back home because there's
So
no roads.
the reason it'd be 9 hours is because of the time of year. It's in October, and you've got a dusk till dawn, and you've got volunteers that sit at the aid stations all day long. You got to be mindful of those people.
So it's before the time changes.
It'll be right
It'd be a
before
week-
the time
yeah.
changes.
Thank you, sir.
But most 50Ks, the standard is 9 hours or less, and so that's we're gonna run it right along lines of the standard races and make it a legit solid 50K. But the 25K will probably start an hour later, just like they do at Sillamore. So you'll have 8 hours, or you have plenty of time to do the 25K. So come one, come all. Even if it's your first trail race, this is the one for you.
Yeah, this is one. And plus, it's October 20th. So, if you're around here, Sillamore is always the one everybody preaches about for your first 50K, for your first legit, got some elevation, got some technicality to it. You've got time between this race to see how it goes, which is going to be, I'm going to tell you, your day out there is probably going to be harder than the day out at Sillamore, I would believe.
You think so?
I think because there's a chance it could be a lot warmer. I mean, there's been warm days at Sillamore, but they also start out cooler and they get warmer throughout the day if you've got a lot of sun. This is October 20th, so you could start out and the low might be 75. You just don't know around here. So November 1st is usually the sign up for Sillamore, so I think that you get a good idea of how you fare for 50Ks, and you do this race, and feel good about yourself, and then you go and try to take podium at Sylamore, maybe something like that.
That's the next step.
This is a good race. I mean, it's a year from now, so our listeners can be like, I have a year to get ready for 50K.
That's right. No
That's right.
excuse.
A whole year,
You
no
have
excuse.
A whole year.
A whole year to plan this.
And it's not like you really need to put much of it. Y'all are two of the most influential people in the trail running community. You can guilt 200 people into doing it.
That might be the plan.
You know, I mean, that may be what it boils down. If it boils down to 10 days ahead of time and you just need to sit on the phone, God knows with you being in the financial business, at some point in time, you've had to hit the phones hard and just say, hey, just wanted to talk to you about this 50K I got going on. It's really for a great cause. Come out and do it.
Well, if I have to guilt you into it, I promise you won't regret it. It's going to be a great deal. The park will speak for itself. I promise you that much.
We've got some LHRL people out there that are distant. We've got some maybe a little farther out west that are used to training in altitude, training with elevation and altitude combined. I challenge them, if they can fit it in their schedule, to come down and just enjoy this race and see how it compares with what they've got out there. Give us some feedback on the race. Enjoy a little camaraderie with the local headquarters of LHRL.
That's what all this is about. Just that could be so much fun just to have a reason to bring LHRL people or whoever people just.
This is an LHRL headquartered race. I mean, this is, you come in here, you maybe come take a tour for a certain penny.
Be on the podcast
and get through like the last podcast where you talked about, paying to enter the shop. And then paying to enter the building. I mean, I went through 3 doors to get into this room. And I'm still in the same building. So, you can make it just a souvenir trip out of it.
We could have like a special hotel if McNairy County has hotels.
But we can all stay at Brian's. Everybody, he said it. He said he's going to take everybody fishing. It's going to be like Woodstock.
Right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Just a bunch of
It's
naked hippies getting ready
amazing.
to run the race.
But the park's got camping. There are
Oh,
hotels.
That's
they've
true.
got so
There's
many
camping.
camps.
And, it's close enough to where, honestly, if you wanted to drive from Memphis, it's an hour drive or
yeah.
a little over. So if we start at 7, get up at 5, drive to the park, you're there.
50K
Well, I'm saying that
starts at 7.
the LHR people
When you're-
flying in to do this race because everybody's going to flock to this race. Place to stay, hotel wise.
They're going to be sleeping with Wilson.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Who doesn't want to do that?
Matthew Fraser.
Matthew Fraser. Y'all are so witty.
That's funny. Hey, we've not even mentioned we're live on Facebook.
Oh, sweet. What's that?
Did you know that?
No, I don't even know what that is.
I wonder if anybody's watching or even if we hooked it up right. I can't see because I had to
I
do
see
it
numbers moving over
from
here.
a.
Is that what that is over there? Because
If
that's like I
anybody's
can see
watching
myself.
that can text me, can you text me and let me know you're watching?
And let me know if the audio sounds
Yeah,
right.
how do we sound?
$1 million.
See if anybody's listening right
Because
now.
I sure as hell went through enough difficulty getting that thing to come on.
Yeah, he's been working on this all week. He's been super excited.
And then I finally got it, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then my computer goes, vroom, and the fan kicked on. I was like, that's not going to work, because then I'll be
You'll be worried about
freaking
the
out
fan.
about the fan
My
coming
computer
on.
does that too. I about beat the mess out of it to the point where it won't work because of that fan.
I was going to put it on an ice pack. You think that would work? If it was, if you put something over it so it wouldn't get wet?
Take dry ice and a small personal fan and blow it back into the port where the fan's blowing out.
Do you know a fellow that can get me some dry ice?
Kroger's got some.
Kroger sells dry ice?
Yeah,
Where?
Kroger.
I didn't know
Like,
that.
we're at in Kroger.
Kroger sells dry ice.
It's the dry ice
Like in the
section.
dry ice machine?
Yeah,
I didn't think that you could just buy that stuff.
you can go buy dry ice.
We got some when I was a kid. I can't remember what was being shipped in there.
Drugs. That's how we get it.
And so you can get dry ice.
Barbecue.
Yeah, we get
You
dry
can
ice.
get dry ice
Drugs.
and drugs. doing some
why you
drugs
married
and spend an afternoon with dry ice would be nothing's better than that. Because I remember we played with that dry ice. We'd stick a penny in there and make Lincoln's teeth chatter. The penny
And
would
the
go
Coke
back
bottles.
and forth. And then I drank so much of it that it got sick.
Ew.
Drink it.
You put it in water and it looks like you're making a Frankenstein
Oh, I got
mixture.
you. Yeah.
And you can only do that so many
So-
times before you turn around and you've drank a quart of dry.
So you make a bomb with it, like a loud. It's not like boom, I mean, it's pretty loud, but you take like a 2-liter Sprite bottle or whatever and leave. I think you got to leave about a third of the bottle full of some type of liquid, and then you drop.
I'm not sure you want to explain
A couple
how to
cubes of
make a
this and
bomb
put the
on
little-
lift
I
heavy
got,
run
I got,
long.
some, got some fertilizer out there.
Well, let's not get that. Yeah, let's not get crazy with it.
Gardener shadow.
This is some good old redneck fun on a Saturday night.
The
Dry
studio
ice.
may be wrapped in yellow tape.
Yeah.
Come tomorrow.
There may be some folks with suits on.
I called my insurance agent today, as a matter of fact, to ask him about the Gardener Shadow policy and what's covered in the shop. And I wanted to add the studio equipment and make sure that that was taken care of in case it burned down or we got looted or something. And he's like, now explain that to me again. He was like, now when you say is this in your shop or what is this other building? I'm like, it's in the shop. He's like, no, the other building. I was like, that is in the
shop.
It's in the shop. And
You got
He
a
said
log cabin inside of a melted.
I think I would
metal
explain to him
building.
as an
outside of
office.
a log
It's like one of
cabin.
those little Russian dolls. You just open up the top, and you got a smaller one inside.
That's a good way of analyzing
It's so funny to see our guests when they walk in the shop and then they walk in here. They're like, "Whoa, it's a building within a building." Yeah, it is.
Well, and it's kind of creepy. It's creepy enough just kind of coming down the gravel road. If you're not familiar with, Byhalia, coming down gravel road, you have kind of the log cabin thing, and then you go into this shop, and as soon as you walk into the studio, that it's my old office, and that really there's no electricity in there, so it's just pitch black. So you got to walk into that.
Is that
other
what that
building.
room is over there at your old office?
Correct.
Okay.
And I figured if we were building a studio, at some point in time, maybe we'd need a sound room. So that's why we went ahead and did it like that. Now, some girls from Ultimate Foods came over to give us some brochures and talk about, whatever sale they were having.
This is before I was involved with this, so it was just two dudes.
No, you were involved with it. You just weren't here.
I thought it was you and Vaughn interviewing them.
We weren't interviewing anybody. They're just coming
Oh.
by to give us brochures.
Gotcha.
I think they thought that Lift Heavy Run Long was a gym. And so they were giving discounts to try to get people for the month of whatever to come to Ultimate Foods and buy stuff. And so these girls are probably 16, 17 years old. They show up, and it's me and Vaughn sitting here fiddling around with video equipment. They're like, oh, look, we got to get, and everybody's just sweating. Like, you know what? Just leave that, and y'all go on home, and it'll be easier on all of us.
Did you run the air conditioning for a while before we got in here and then
Yeah.
shut it off? You always do that now.
Yeah.
It's a courtesy.
Is it comfortable? I want you to be comfortable.
It's pretty comfortable.
Is it getting hot?
Not yet.
Because I had it at 63.
It's pretty cold in here
Is it?
earlier.
It was awesome.
I just got done running. Literally, that's why I was, 10 minutes late coming here?
15.
Okay. 15.
Who's counting?
Nobody's counting.
Nobody's counting.
I was wondering if we had nicked into your running schedule.
Well,
You-
my
you know-
running
you know
schedule
how-
was messed up today.
You know how carefree and loose I am. I was just fine with it.
Since we've had the baby, April and I used to I'd go to the gym at lunch, and then I would get my Tuesdays would be, for the past summer, had been triathlon training too, so I'd get a little bike in there too. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday would be train at the gym during lunch, do recovery, do stretching, just do whatever, cross training, and then get a run in. But now with the baby, I got to be home. I got to go pick up the boys from daycare and school and all that. And so now I'm having to do I've had to cut everything out besides swimming and kind of recovery stretching and stuff and just do the running. So, today was a little messed up. I could not run at lunch. I had a 7-miler on the plan, and I worked through lunch. I had a doctor's appointment to go to at 1, so I was like, man, this is all messed up. And then, I had to try to backtrack what time I got to be here, how far of a drive, and then I got to do 7 miles. Well, I was originally just going to do 6 because I was like, I'm pushing my time a little bit. But I got out there and it felt so good. I was like, I'm going to do my 7. And that's, I think, the 7 miles made me 7 minutes later.
3 extra
So I would
minutes.
already been
Yeah.
late, but I was 7 minutes later on top
Who
of
does your plan?
me.
And you stay on that. You do not deviate from that plan.
I've got a plan, and I try not to deviate from the volume, but I definitely switch up the days and what lengths of runs I do per day.
What you do is what I would like to do in life. You do really well with what you do.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you for that, and I wish that someday I could be like you.
Strava has so many things to keep you accountable that if you're a guy like me or a person like me, you cater to these challenges. And so I've signed up every month. I sign up for a vertical running challenge. So not only do you get your horizontal mileage, but you try to get a certain vertical volume that's based on meters. And they've, for some funny reason, kicked it up from 2,000 meters to 2,500 vertical meters in the past 6 months. That extra 500 meters is a little more difficult to attain unless you go out to Shelby Forest and get one good weekend out there. I haven't been able to do that this month.
How many red loops would you have to do to attain 2,500 meters?
2,500 meters is like 8,300 feet.
So it's about 800 feet, 700 to 800 feet per red loop is about the average.
So you would, you'd have to do probably, 15? Something like that.
I cried about 3.
Willie Roberson would probably be the only person I know that's done more than 10 out there at one time. He did 100 miles out there. That's 33 loops.
All on the red loop?
All on the red loop.
No.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was an awesome deal.
Just did it on his own?
Yeah. Well, he had
self-supported. He had friends come run with him, but it was a self-supported run.
You got a 3 mile,
Holy
3
cow.
3.2, 3.3 mile loop. You can keep enough snacks in your truck, but just the monotony
Look at that face
of running 33 laps out
Just doing, the red loop just makes me want to die.
there.
I did 3 or 4 of those that weekend we went out there, and that was just all I could take.
7 is my max out there so
Ooh.
far.
7.
7, and that was 4,500 feet. No, I'm sorry, it was like 4,200 feet and 21.5 miles or 22 miles.
It takes an hour to get to Shelby Forest. It probably takes about the same time to get there as it does to Big Hill Pond.
That's about right.
I wonder why we don't go to Big Hill Pond.
We should.
Good question. Well, I'm trying to plan something for towards the end of October, I think, the 21st maybe. April's got a 5K. It's going to be one of her first races back since having the baby. And so it'll be a little bit later in the day, but I was planning on maybe trying to get a little run. I've got a 25-miler planned that day. So go out there and just kind of have a day out of it and do a little exploring and a little bit of idea hatching on the course.
That might be our Chattanooga Marathon weekend. Hopefully not.
I mean, when you're athletes like us, it's just hard to find an open weekend that you're not racing.
That's right. We've
Because you had a 10K last weekend.
and I did about as well in that as I did the Tough Mudder that I signed up for the weekend before that. So that's two weekends in a row that I've dudded out. I haven't ran since Stanky Creek, and will not run again until.
But that's the magic of what you do, because you could turn
24-hour
around
race.
next weekend and go run a 50K.
oh, no, it's October 15th. So we'll be back.
Okay.
So we can
October 21st. Probably wouldn't start until 10 or 11ish, which is a lot later than I like to start out there. But my wife, I'm trying to make sure that she gets back into to running as good as she can. I don't want her to jump back in.
You're
and
so
get injured.
selfless.
I am. I'm a selfless person. If you look at my training schedule that she allows me, it just oozes selflessness. So no, I have to give all her the props. She's had a baby. She's catered to my crazy schedule and allowed me to sign up for all these races and continue with my career as an adult ultra runner. And so I thank her very much for that.
I saw a picture of her the other day, and she's like back in
She's
100% fit form.
Yep.
I didn't. I was just kept looking at it. I was like, is that a current picture? I don't think that's current. That has to be from before this baby.
When
But
she has baby, she is all baby. And the baby comes out, and then she's, got to do the normal recovery and everything like that. But she's ready to jump back out there.
April's awesome.
Yeah, she is.
I love April.
I do too.
When she was running, when she ran that Ragnar Night yellow loop or whatever that was, I couldn't believe she was going to go do that. As pregnant as she was, with all those rocks and hills, and it was night. Ugh.
Well, she's got a brand new pair of trail shoes that she's been itching to use. I got her as one of several push presents that I've been told that I need to get.
What's a push present?
A present that you give to your wife for pushing out a baby.
Ah, I get it. That makes sense. Are you doing the 24-hour race this weekend?
Yes.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
Yeah, I'm trading that. It's 5 weeks out from Tunnel Hill 50. So I'm treating that as kind of my climax long run. And then I'm going to do, it's a 1 mile loop, and as best as I can focus on it, I don't want to really get more than maybe 60 miles volume total in that 24-hour period. But I'd like to do a minimum of a 30-mile, somewhat continuous activity, get a few hours of bonding and friendship and sleep, and get back up and do maybe another 20 or 30, and just try to treat it as a back-to-back in 24-hour period.
My man Adam Williams, your son, told me that he was going to go after 70.
He's going after 70 miles. So
That's so crazy.
last year he did 62.
How old is he?
He was 12 last year, so 13 this year. And I think he's going to find it hard to overcome 62. 62 was a tough number last year. I mean, it was a long 24 hours for him. But I'm really proud of him.
Did he run all 24?
Huh?
Did he run all 24 hours?
He quit with like 2 or 3 hours to go. He was just done. So he's gonna have to run probably 24 hours this year though if he wants 70. I'm excited for him. So we'll be out there. We camp every year. The whole family goes out there, and we put up some stupid numbers every single year. So it's a lot of fun.
Everybody's
awesome.
doing a solo.
Everybody's
I looked
doing
at the
solo.
sign up. I looked at the entrance, and I saw all the Williams family. I almost said Adams, and I was like, "Wow, they're all running."
We're all running. Yeah. So my son has the course record for his age group at 62, and my daughter has the course record for her age group at 42, I think, last year, and she was 10 last year.
Now, are you all healthy?
So, I am healthy.
Are you planning on doing anything spectacular?
Well, if I can keep up with my son, that would be a happy day for me. But something what Sean just said is probably more along the lines of what I want to do. I'll do 30 miles and then maybe relax a little bit and then see what the second day takes me, where it takes me. So what happened last year was I was ready to quit, and my son wanted to tack on a few more miles, and so I ended up running with him. So I got more than I actually wanted last year. But I'd like to put in a good effort. But
this is my first time running it, so I'm really not shooting for. I'm using it as a training run. That's why I signed up for it. I wanted to. I heard, y'all did it last year, and it was fun to watch and hear about all the stories afterwards. And I said I need a long run. 5 weeks out is a little farther out than I wanted. 3 or 4 weeks out would have been great for my last long run before the taper. But I said I can make it work because then I'll come out and do Big Hill Pond 3 weeks out from the race, which would be 2 weeks after 24-hour race. And then we got Wade's Big Adventure, which is an 18-miler trail 2 weeks out from the race. So I will hard taper after Wade's.
I'm looking forward to the 24-hour race compared to last year. I don't have any goal, which is fun. I'm looking forward to going out there and just seeing how far I want to go. And also, I'm lighter this year than I was last year, but I also not having a cutoff, so I don't carry that anxiety. I usually am nervous when I'm running, and it'd just be nice to get out there and waddle and see how far I want to do that and how long I want to do it. Last year, I started getting blisters at like the 200-meter point.
Yeah, you had issues.
It was killing me. I don't have blisters for the
It was
most
pretty
part.
warm last year too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
yeah, I think you used my entire box of Band-Aids.
Yeah.
And blister medicine.
Yeah, Lori
It's like,
Lori
what
was
the hell
taping
happened to it?
taping me up like every 2 miles.
Yeah.
I would come back in, and it worked for a little while. But
I know y'all are concerned, but I can't run this year. I have to work. So.
I didn't know
I
that.
thought you were. I just assumed you were doing it.
Well, he signed me up and then told me he signed me up, and I was like, I have to work that weekend.
The
What
whole
about
weekend,
the-
you
so
can
is-
come out there and run a mile
So I'll
or two.
come out and cheer y'all on or run with y'all a little bit, but I'll have to go home and
Is there
rest.
anything that I or myself or Brian can do to help you get out of work?
What can we do to change that?
You could
Can you not
fill
get
in
somebody
for
to work for you?
I mean, I can try, but I've so many of our races hit randomly on my every third weekend.
It's for the people of Haiti.
That
And it's a medical
It's a
mission.
medical
It's
mission.
a medical
so, I mean,
mission. That's
you're a
exactly
doctor.
right.
you took an oath.
I swear, it's like every time we have a big race, it is on my weekend to work. And so they have been so kind to cover for me. And this one came up and I didn't know about it. I didn't realize when it was. And you told
I
me
don't
you signed
think
me up
that
for
it's
it.
every time we have a big race, it's your weekend to work. I just think you do a lot of races and you have to work.
Okay, well, maybe that. But they've been really good. And I couldn't bring myself to go in my boss's office one more time and be like, hey, can you work for me this weekend?
Does Jennifer listen to this?
No. No, I don't think so.
Well, you should turn it on at work. Virginia listens to it.
Virginia does.
And I bet Jennifer would be kind enough to fill in for you or get Musa to do that. If the people of Haiti want to stand a chance,
Yep.
then you should be there running. So can we swing that? It would make me happy.
I'll send some emails tomorrow and see what I can do.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're at an hour. I think we got 3 more minutes. So anything else that we need to talk about?
I have something to say. It's not related to this, though.
Is it about Matt Frazier?
Dang. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's not. No,
He's
it's
getting
not.
some shout outs today, man.
Yeah, he's moving to Cookeville.
Oh, even closer. That's
Yeah.
good. I need more Matt
I was
Frazier.
super
closer by.
psyched. So my grandparents used to live in Cookeville, and they have an empty house up there. So we could go like stay in Cookeville and like become friends with Matt Frazier and Rich Froning.
That sounds like that would probably end well.
Anyway, that was not what I was wanting to talk about. So John Irving, that was here last week for Iron Tribe. I went out to Iron Tribe this past Wednesday to check out their gym and just what they had going on down there because it sounded cool. So I went out there and checked it out. They got kind of the CrossFit set up with the garage doors and had a big old long pull-up bar through the middle of the gym and had their wall ball stations and all that stuff in their bars. And he just showed me around the gym and kind of how they had everything set up. They have like the, what do you want to do? We're going to meet your goals, nutrition plans that they would set up for you. And the coaches were there and super nice, shook my hand, introduced themselves, asked me if I wanted to do a workout with them. But I'd already worked out at CrossFit that morning, so I was like, I'm cool. But it was cool. So just shout out to Iron Tribe, and they were super cool, super nice, and it was nice to check out their gym and what they had going on.
He was on the ball as far as contacting and
Super,
getting
yeah.
back in touch with you.
Yeah, so I called him and we set up an appointment. It was all fancy, sent out an email invitation to make sure I clicked yes, I'd be there, and was on point, gave me a call. We had the days mixed up. He thought I was supposed to be there on Tuesday and just shot me a text and called me real quick to make sure I was okay. So,
Hey,
it was nice.
kudos to you guys on your giving me information for the post and your picture.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Oh, y'all already done that?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
that's always a problem.
Yeah, he's going to give you a hug after
Nice.
the podcast is over.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up, and we'll be looking forward to the Buford Pusser Walking Tall. Win yourself a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Walking tall or
Either that or a bass fishing trip. You're gonna
you get a
win.
fishing trip.
Yeah.
Or the walking tall or fire tower 50K. One of the two. That's those are the two options.
And we've got some mysterious stuff kind of up our sleeves to make
I'm sure
this
you
there'll be
do.
some
a
exciting
unique,
stuff.
Yeah.
unique experience.
Yep.
No excuse. October 20th, 2018. It's already booked. If you go to the Big Hill Pond website, it's already up on their calendar. We just have to get the name situated, and then we'll open up our Facebook page, and all the information will go on there, and we'll be in good shape.
Awesome.
This reeks of Williams and Hilsdon uniqueness.
And we may or may not
it's a
post.
type of different that I don't know if I'm ready for.
You may have to show up to the packet pickup to kind of see what the course is like visually. So, just mysteriousness always.
You're doing
seems
a little Barkley type.
Well, I don't
thing.
really want to. I hate to push it in that direction, but I think that when you go out there and you tell everybody exactly what it is, it takes that just mysteriousness out of it.
Yeah.
It's a 50K.
Like if you tell somebody
it's-
they're about to get bit in the ass by a cobra,
It's
just
absolutely
not the same
runnable.
as when it jumps up and bites
It's 100% runnable all day long,
you.
and so there's nothing to worry
It's
about.
been naturally preserved.
It has.
It's been
It's got a lot of Civil War background to it. It's a historical park. it played a big part in that.
People die out there. People
Yeah,
have died out
you're
there.
stomping around on old dead people.
Yep. That's great,
That's
man.
your motto.
So
Lift Heavy Run Long number 67 is in the books.